Hey everyone, welcome to the general reading for Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for April 2019. I do hope this video finds you all well. I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping before we begin the actual reading. I just want to thank all of you for your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It really means a lot to me to be able to share these messages with all of you. So thank you so much for your support. I do know there were several people who were reaching out to me for personal readings who never got back to me. So I'm just letting everyone know in the videos. Some people did tell me that my emails were actually being sent to their spam folder. So if you didn't hear back from me after sending an email and you're like, what the heck? Definitely check your spam or junk folder. It probably ended up there. I did respond to all of the emails that I got. Just a little FYI. I do also have I'm starting to post all the astrological information I'm referencing through these readings as a blog post each month. I have the link in the description down below if you're interested in that. And what else? That's it. If you wanted a personal reading, obviously all of that information is down below as well. Yeah, so let's get into this, shall we? We are still in this post-shadow phase of Mercury retrograde. It went direct, I want to say it was the 28th. And we're still going to be playing catch-up for a little while until April 7th. And on that day, we're going to have one more conjunction between Neptune and Mercury. So there's still going to be a lot of spiritual insights that come through, a lot of emotional breakthroughs, perhaps. I'm almost thinking of this as like we were having a lot of spiritual downloads, and now we're going to be having the install period happen on April 7th. And so a lot of spontaneous manifestations can happen. A lot of things can just roar to the surface emotionally, especially from the subconscious. There's been a lot that's been brewing back here, and it's been a bit murky. Especially being in Pisces, especially with all of these conjunctions with Neptune, things have been pretty vague, not very clear. And I almost get the feeling that with this Mercury retrograde, we're going to be finding in the next few days that we actually were having these miscommunications and getting the wrong information for a while. We just weren't even aware of it. So it's almost like a Mercury retrograde on the DL. So that's fun and exciting and something to be aware of. It is Aries season. Happy spring equinox. We did start off this Aries season with a Libra full moon, which is kind of an interesting way to kick off Aries season. And there's going to be another one on April 19th. So there's actually a lot of emphasis on relationships and the way that people show up in their relationships, especially the ways that you compromise or the ways that you may bulldoze. It's coming to the forefront right now. And we do also have Mercury and Venus in Pisces going into Aries on the 17th for Mercury and the 20th for Venus. And this is really going to get all of this dreamy energy, and it's going to push us into bringing it into action. So there may be some quick decisions that need to be made. There may also be new love or reinvigorated passion in old relationships. It's almost like going from this Piscean, love is in the air, wooey, dreamy state into action time, mating season. There might even be a little bit of conflict, but it's going to definitely be a passionate time, especially towards the second half of April. Finally, we do have a lot of planets going retrograde, outer planets going retrograde. We have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn. I believe, I'm so bad. I believe that's the 24th. It could be the 30th. I know that Pluto is also going retrograde, and that's also going to be in Capricorn, which is your ruling planet. So you're really going to feel that. It's definitely going to be a big time to reflect inward, especially with the ways that you rise above, the ways you achieve status, the way you even approach work. If you're using work as an escape mechanism or a coping mechanism, that could also be coming up as well, and it may manifest as just a lot of a need to transform. I also see with this Sagittarius, or with this Jupiter retrograding in Sagittarius, there is going to be a lot of emphasis on looking forward. What is it? What is it I'm doing? Where am I going? That's going to be in the collective pretty majorly for everyone. And I think that's about it. Again, you can check the blog post. It's much more thorough if you want to have a more clear picture. I just like to start off the reads with kind of a general forecast like that. As I was pulling the cards to figure out which sign to do next, I did get your card, Death, which was just telling me that it was you. But that also came out with the Five of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. So it seems like some of you, there is a need to strike a balance. There may be a lot of change that's happening right now. There's kind of this lack of stability. It may feel like you're juggling too many things. Things might feel a bit rocky right now. And we do have this Five of Cups, so some of you are definitely feeling disappointed about something, some sort of dejection, almost feeling like down on your luck type of energy is almost what I'm getting. And this may not apply to all of you. This is, I should also say that this is a general reading, so obviously not all of the messages are going to apply to one person. You're just going to have to use your discretion and intuition and figure out what resonates for you and leave the rest behind, especially with these pre-shuffle readings. Sometimes this is only like one or two people, potentially. But if you've been dealing with a lot of change and a lot of disappointment, this may be the read for you. It may be a confirmation. Yeah, very, very interesting. I'm just going to start your read. I'm going to do a little shuffling. Come out. Lots of major arcana falling out for you. Okay. Interesting. So we have this Chariot, the Strength, and Two of Pentacles showed up again. So it seems like in your daily life, you've definitely just been trying to go forward. You've really been pushing through, especially if you're dealing with family situations or with work stuff, problems at work. There might have been a little bit of conflict, but it seems like you're going for it anyway. You're just gunning forward. Really strong energy there. Some of you may also be dealing with a cancer or have been dealing with a cancer. There is also kind of this need to balance your light and dark side is something that's coming up for you right now. It seems like the way you're going forward, it needs to be in balance, especially with this Two of Pentacles. Balance is coming up a lot for you for the month of March. And, you know, we have kind of the balance, the infinity symbol here. We also have it in the Strength card as well. So again, that's telling me about a need to strike a balance and a need to have equal give and take. With this Strength card at the heart of your reading, this could pertain to a Leo, although it's also likely that this is just you overcoming whatever emotional blocks you've been having. You're just really drawing on your strength to act like this Chariot, to go forward. Your strength is definitely being tested, and it looks like you're doing pretty well. You are still juggling your options. This is in your mental field, so there's definitely some, I think you're kind of trying to find your equilibrium and just trying to figure out what it is you're doing. I think this is also kind of weighing out different options potentially as well, especially if you're dealing with a Cancer and a Leo. Some of you may actually be trying to figure out which person to go to if this is a like kind of a romantic situation. Let's see, what's I didn't even need to ask. This animal card just flew right out for you. We do have Crow, which is interesting. I was kind of talking about light and darkness, and this is kind of speaking to finding people who won't judge you for your darkness, people who are going to see your mystery and magic and really, you know, your murder of crows, so to speak, finding those people who are really going to help you cultivate your wisdom and your medicine. I also see that this has been a pretty intuitive time for you. You've definitely been thinking a lot about the future. There's been a lot of forward movement, that's for sure. or at least that's been what you've been trying to do, but it seems like you've actually been pushing forward. Despite being in a Mercury retrograde, that hasn't stopped you. So it seems like you are in alignment with this, I would say. There is, I think meditation has also been a practice you've been engaging in a lot, or just getting back in touch with your spirituality or your intuition. This is a very psychic card. Some of you may also have been having visions or dreams, like prophetic dreams, or even messages from the other side, from deceased loved ones. This could potentially be a mediumship card as well. Very interesting that there may be guidance, especially if you do have a person who is a Cancer or a Leo. You might have felt their presence around you. Not necessarily, but just a potential I'm seeing here. Let's look at the first half of April now. What is the energy looking like for the first half of April for Scorpio? Seems like Cancer wants to come out a lot in your reading. Interesting. One more. What is the energy looking like for the first half of April for Scorpio? It still seems like you can't make up your mind, because this is the mental card, and this one is having a bit of a hard time coming out. Someone may also be holding back communication as well. This is interesting, because the other cards have just been flying out for you. I feel like I should be playing music or something. That's too many. You know, some of you may have also left behind a Leo with this Chariot card. That's something I'm also seeing as well. Some of you may have tried to move forward from a Leo, or someone who has a lot of Leo in their chart. Wow, this is not coming. I'm going to try 3 more times, and then I'm just going to pull. There we go. Finally. So we have 2 cards that actually fell out for you. We have King of Wands in reverse and the King of Pentacles in reverse. So it seems like there may be some blockage in communication with someone who has a lot of fire or earth in their chart, and or really. This is very interesting. You might be a bit too focused materially right now. It's almost to your detriment. Your mind is being taxed by how much you're focusing on kind of your passion, your career, perhaps. And I was kind of saying that with, I think that's going to be more of a theme later in April, but it seems like some of you are already struggling with that in the first half. There could also be a disagreement between an earth and fire sign, depending on your own placements as well. Either of these cards could be you. And it seems like neither one of you is budging. You're both, there's this standstill between these 2 individuals. If these are 2 individuals, it's very deadlocked. And someone is definitely holding a grudge. Someone's definitely holding back. And it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be yielding anytime soon. We do have the 10 of Wands for you as well, and the 5 of Pentacles. So you're definitely feeling quite burdened. There's still a lot of burden that you're carrying coming into the month of April, and this is at the heart of your read. So there's definitely a lot of, you're trying really hard. I see the Scorpio. You really are trying so hard to move forward, but it's like, it's just, you can't seem to catch a break. It's like or you might have caught a break, and then it's just more being left out in the cold, more isolation. There's like this, these two people aren't talking to each other. Um, and again, this could be you and someone else, or this could just be two people that you're working with who aren't seeing eye to eye, and it's really blocking you, and it's actually interfering with your life as well. I almost see like you're trying to carry the weight of this situation. You're doing all the backbreaking stuff while these two are being stubborn, potentially. Or you're just really trying to go forward, even though you're supposed to be working with someone, but it's not working out. There is some sort of lack of cohesion, lack of cooperation is the word. No one's cooperating right now in communication. Great. You know, and this might also be part of the post-shadow Mercury retrograde phase. There might be some sort of misunderstanding that's coming to the surface just now, and neither person is budging on their stance. They might have thought they were seeing eye to eye, and they actually weren't. Let's see, what is the animal wisdom for this situation? What is the animal wisdom for the first? Okay, so that's a lot. You got 3 animals here. This is so weird. It's like the same animals that keep coming up. Bear has come up in pretty much every reading, I think. We also have buffalo, and we have oyster. So again, someone's being very closed off. Someone is not coming forward. Someone may be afraid to present or show their gifts. Someone may be afraid to get vulnerable, you know, reveal that inner pearl, reveal that inner treasure with you. Or this could be you having a hard time revealing your inner treasure or your emotionality with someone. There's a lot of closed off energy that's coming, a lot of burden, a lot of feeling alone. Buffalo is, I think this is kind of speaking to remind you to just keep going forward, to have faith. You are on the right path. You do have this Chariot card here. It does tell me you're going forward in something positive. You're just kind of in a bumpy part of the road. You know, you have this lightning bolt, so to speak. But Buffalo, it isn't phased. Buffalo just keeps going forward. It follows its heart. And, you know, with its heaven-reaching horns and its hooves in the earth, it's a very grounded spirituality. Yoga would probably be very, very helpful for you in the first half of April if you don't already have a yogic practice. And again, there is kind of this heavy energy with bear. This is the coming out of hibernation, coming out of dormancy, which makes a lot of sense for that Mercury retrograde post-shadow. It's kind of a slow start to things, but it is the beginning of something beautiful, some big spiritual awakening of spring, a new life ahead of you. And it is coming. I do feel like this is all saying that it's coming. It's just there needs to be some opening up before this can happen. And there needs to be a lot of trust and faith. It doesn't seem like anyone's trusting each other either, for that matter. But just trusting in the divine, trusting in the universe, trusting in God, whatever it is that you believe in, there needs to be more faith. You're losing faith, I think, especially being turned away by the church in this Five of Pentacles. There is kind of this loss of faith I see that's happening, and it seems to be pertaining to a very physical situation. Very interesting. I am going to take a peek now at the second half of April. What does the second half of April look like for Scorpio? One more, please. That's going to be too many. Okay, one more. Again, it seems like someone needs to make up their mind. So we have the Three of Swords, the Three of Pentacles in reverse, and then Judgment and the Knight of Cups came out together. So it does seem like there might... I'm almost getting the sense of like backstabbing, of betrayal with this card. I'm not necessarily getting so much a breakup vibe. To be honest, this seems more pertaining to family and work. I think there might be a breaking of a contract. There might be going to other sources. There might be kind of a third party or someone else who's interfering with your life is kind of what's coming up. There's going to be some sort of breaching of trust, I think. But be mindful of that, especially if you are dealing with an earth or fire sign. I do see that might be a potential for some of you. I think there's just... You've been burdened for a while, to be honest, Scorpio. I'm seeing this in a lot of the reads for you, and it just seems like this Ten of Wands keeps haunting you. And I almost get the sense that if you're not careful, you actually could end up injuring yourself by the end of April. So this is really time to take things slow. Again, you do have Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn. So that is your ruling planet, and it might be... It seems like there's a lot of healing that's going to need to come, that's going to be coming to the surface, a need to heal, and you're going to have the opportunity to do that. I see with this Three of Pentacles, again, there's this lack of cooperation that still keeps pervading throughout the month. I almost get the sense that what this is telling you is that you need to walk away from a situation. You need to, if someone's not working with you, don't put in all the work for them, just walk away. If possible. Obviously, it's not always available, but I almost get the sense that you really need to be careful of what you're taking on, because there is so much stuff that you're carrying. There's so much weight that you're carrying. And there was that disappointment in the pre-shuffle as well with that Five of Cups. It seems like you're very disappointed with the way things are going. I see also with Judgment and the Knight of Cups, there is... I feel like this is, on one level, you seeking healing. This is you closing things out, closing yourself off to whatever all of this was. You're kind of just, by the end of the month, you're just, I've had it, is almost the energy I get. Or someone's going to be like, I've had it, I'm done. This could also potentially be someone coming back from the past, especially if you are dealing with another water sign. So that could be someone who has Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces in their chart. Or just someone who's going to be offering some sort of apology or reconciliation or vulnerability. I almost see that this is you, however, needing to go forward. You know, with Judgment, I actually also kind of, to me, this is very much a Scorpio and a Sagittarius card as well, because we do have the death, we do have the judgment call that's being made, but we also have this rebirth, and that always reminds me of those two signs. So you may be dealing with a Sagittarius or a Scorpio, but it seems like it's almost like when you walk away from whatever situation you were in, especially if this is like a third-party situation. I don't feel like that's a lot of you, but there might be a third-party situation amidst here. It's almost like someone's going to come back from the past, or you're going to go back to something, and you're going to try and make amends. But I mean, I see healing. This is almost you. I almost feel like this is you going off to yourself, to be honest. I actually want to pull... I'm going to see what the animal cards have to say. But before we get to that, we do also have the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck as well. There is this, again, a need for balance keeps coming up. That's very obvious in your read. There's this give and take that needs to happen. And, you know, right underneath this, there is the Ten of Cups. It's like, it's almost like this is what's blocking your Ten of Cups. Everything you want. And it keeps coming up. Everything you want is being blocked by this lack of balance. Someone is taking advantage of someone, or someone isn't putting enough in, or someone's taking too much. It's just, you might be putting yourself too much into something as well, and it's actually holding you back. It's like you're working so hard, but I almost see that it's to your detriment at this point. It's like there's interpersonal stuff that needs to be worked out before you're allowed to go forward. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. What does the animal wisdom have to say? Geez, this is heavy. So we have rabbit and gazelle. For rabbit, this is very much about kind of feeling frozen, feeling stuck in a situation. It's like locked in your nervous system, looking out for threats all the time. It's a lot of fear. You're in a lot of fear. It's really important for you. Both of these cards are actually very, very hyper vigilant. Gazelle also speaks of being hyper aware of things, of looking out for threats. It's like there's so much going on. Your nervous system is going crazy, and I think that's what you really need to focus on. You need to take care of yourself, because you're making matters worse. You're already so anxious that you're just creating more problems for yourself. You're seeing more problems, and it's making the people around you anxious as well, potentially. There is a need to kind of have more stability, to have a secure home that's coming up very, very strongly, especially by the end of April. And that makes sense. You know, with all of the retrograde planets that are going to be happening, there is going to be a long-term focus, as I said. And I do see that a lot of you are really trying to find a home for yourself, and even a family with Rabbit. You know, Rabbit is a very familial card. Again, it's very Cancerian energy. Wow. I feel like there needs to be something else here, because I feel like I just dropped a lot of weight on you. But, you know, I feel like you've been dealing with this, Scorpio. Like, for as long as I've been doing these readings, it's been hard. It's been a lot of healing. There's been a lot of transformation. And I feel like there's something here I'm missing. Or something else. Can I get some advice? What is the advice for Scorpio? How can Scorpio best navigate this energy? Interesting. So I feel like a lot of you are dealing with this octopus energy. This could potentially be you, actually. It's someone who's very, very perceptive, very intuitive, someone who is very spread out in your life. There's kind of this, it almost feels like psychic vampire energy. Someone who's really draining you, someone who's very manipulative, very good at getting you to behave a certain way. I feel like there's a need to distance yourself from this person. Potentially I hate to say, you could be doing this yourself. You could be trying to control people. You could be trying to control too many things. You have all of these tentacles. It kind of reminds me of this Ten of Wands. And regardless of who this is, there's definitely a need to get space, to take space from this person or from this situation, and to, honestly, like, this card talks about therapy. And I think, again, you know, with this oyster card, there really is a need to open up. Especially if you're dealing with some sort of conflict. What is this Ten of Wands about, I wonder? There's Page of Cups in reverse and the Death card. I think this is about you. This is definitely about you. I feel like you're not opening up to people. You're not coming forward with your emotions. And you're still taking so much onto yourself. It's like, I almost get the sense, okay, now it's all coming clear. This octopus energy, what this is like, the people that you turn to are so spread out. They're so far apart. It's like you'll go to one person for one thing, another person for another, but you don't have like a single person to go to. You don't have a single rock. And I actually feel like you're just so spread out. It's like some of you may be like, but I am talking about my feelings. I am being vulnerable with people. but I think you're only giving your parts of yourself to different people. It seems like what you really need to be doing is coming forward and being very honest. There's a lot of transformation that needs to be had here, Scorpio, I have to say. And this feels like you're just holding something back. And it's just whatever it is you're holding back energetically, it's wreaking havoc on your life. You have the ability to let all of this go. You just need to unload. There needs to be like, I feel like I'm hearing sobbing right now. I feel like you just need to sob, scream, let it out. There's some sort of pent up emotion here that's just, wow, this is tough. But I don't know. I mean, if I don't know how else to end this. This just seems like there's so much transformation that's happening. You do have the ability to be reborn here. You do have the ability to bring healing to the situation. That's very, very clear. But it's almost like you're too stubborn not to. It's like there's been just this stubbornness that's been holding you back from doing this, or this pride, and it's not serving you anymore. So I really hope that for those of you who this resonates for, you really take this to heart. If this doesn't resonate, also check out your other signs as well. I have the April playlist with all the other signs. You're also welcome to book a general reading with me. The links are down below for my email or for my website. I do hope that this was helpful. If I don't hear from you in the comments, I will talk to you next month. Bye, Scorpio.